Near the beautiful North York Moors, in the pretty town of Kirby Moorside, lives auctioneer Angus Ashworth.
480, 480, 480 in the room.
With his hard-working team,
There we go.
Angus has grown his auction house into a thriving business.
This is an interesting piece. 2 cherubs. Not you two, is it?
When he's not on his rostrum,
We're off on another job again.
Again.
he's clearing cluttered homes
I'll start having a rummage and see what we can find.
Great.
in search of unwanted items to go under his gavel.
The West Riding of York, 1610. See my house.
Have a look at everything, but there's all sorts of stuff.
OK.
Using his expert knowledge,
The more and more I go through this, the value's totting up.
he finds hidden treasures
This is what I'm in the business for.
and uncovers forgotten heirlooms.
Looks like me on a dance floor.
Taking them back to the sale room,
Is it shiny?
Is it shiny?
Wow.
Angus, am I allowed to use this?
Put it down, that's mine.
he auctions these once cherished items,
These were all just sat in the loft.
Gathering dust.
making their owners a very
£740
pretty
I'm just astonished.
penny.
at 900.
It's morning at the auction house. And as everyone races to research and catalogue all the items for an upcoming auction,
I mean, if you went to a master craftsman and said, could you make me that chair?
You were paying loads for it, wouldn't you?
Hundreds and hundreds of pounds.
Angus is preparing to hit the road.
Do you know, that's the best thing about my job. You never know what you're going to find, and there's always that excitement. Are you going to come across something really good? And yeah, it's the best bit of the job, really. That and being on the rostrum selling it. So, looking forward to this one.
He'll be taking his trusty sidekick, Pete, on this job.
Pete, you ready?
What we got?
Rum.
Rum.
Motorbikes, yeah. We've got some motorbikes to go pick up. Sheffield, here we come.
Angus and Pete are making an 85-mile trip to South Yorkshire, and the third member of the clearance team is Pete's dog, Barney.
You're driving, Bernie.
Oh, a bit of a wet, dreary day, Pete.
Yeah, isn't it?
Angus and Pete are off to visit Linda and her daughter Janine and son John. Their motorbike-loving dad, Malcolm, passed away recently, and the family want to find a new home for his motorbikes and memorabilia.
1964 when I first met him. And he rolled up on his motorbike and he used to work with my dad, and that's how I met Malcolm.
Linda fell in love with Malcolm and his motorbike.
Malcolm used to ride in trials in North Yorkshire and everywhere, and then he got me into it, and then I had my own bike.
And when son and daughter John and Janine came along, it became a family affair.
He was passionate about motorbikes and we all got involved. I mean, how lucky was I at 4 years old? I had a motorbike that my dad took me around riding on. I mean, I was so lucky to be involved in it like that.
Mark used to put trials on. We'd be stood on Town End Common in snow, rain, hail a blow, and then it was left to me and Janine to see to the entries.
I'd have to go legging it, running after them to find out what their number was because she'd forgotten to write that bit down.
Losing such a wonderful husband and dad has left the family heartbroken.
He worked hard all his life, my dad. He was a fire equipment engineer for all his career nearly. He suffered with asbestosis and eventually that's what took him from us. He passed away earlier this year. It was a sad time for everybody. Still raw.
It is, yeah. Oh dear. Sorry. Sorry.
Linda, John and Janine have been left with the paraphernalia of all Malcolm's hobbies and passions, and have called in Angus and the team to see if they can help.
It's frightening when you look at all the stuff in these spaces to start to think about how do we break this down, because it's
Yeah.
you know, your dad's life.
Hey, you, Flower.
Hello.
Hey, you. Hello. Yeah, come on in. It's
Thank
a
you
bit,
very much. All right,
bit nippy out
It
there.
is in a bit, isn't it?
It is, love, yes.
So how is it that you know, we can help.
We always knew that we wanted to look after my dad's stuff, and he wanted it to go somewhere that'll be used, and be looked at, and all those things.
Be appreciated.
And be appreciated.
Well, I can't wait to have a look. I mean, should we have a look at the bikes first?
Let's go and have a look at.
Oh, look at the bikes. They're good. I mean, the Bantam's very popular. The Trials are as well. The old Suzuki.
The middle one, Malcolm's Bantam, was originally a German design, but the blueprints were taken by the British as compensation after World War II. Built here between the 1940s and 70s, it went on to become one of the best-selling bikes in the world.
At the moment, they're not going to do anything other than sit there. So if someone can have some use, some joy and pleasure out of them, then
My dad would love that somebody's riding them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about somebody enjoying them, isn't it? And wonderful. And you said about there's fire extinguishers everywhere, isn't there?
Yeah, there is special ones that my dad would have acquired over the years.
Malcolm's 40-year career as a fire service engineer left him with a lifelong passion for vintage firefighting equipment.
You have some old brass ones, I reckon,
Yeah.
like that? Okay.
There are some older ones in the loft.
Well, some of them now actually are, particularly the earlier brass ones, a lot of people know them from a decorative point of view and polished up, and so potentially there's a few things there.
With only a day to get the job done, they'll need to load the bikes pronto.
Pete!
Cue the brains of the operation. And Pete.
That was good timing.
But we've got some work to do, Pete.
Make sure you've got your foot on the brakes as well. Or your hand, yeah. Put her on.
It's got no brake, though.
No brakes.
Right.
That will do. That's all right, that.
The family have decided that any money raised from the sale of Malcolm's bikes and other items should be gifted to the granddaughters he adored.
Malcolm loved Charlotte and Hermione, and so anything we make is going to them from Grandad. Whatever they want, but it's for them. It is, yeah.
You know, it must be tough for Linda losing her husband and seeing his things go. I think, you know, it's not about the money for them. It's more about, I think, the next step in the journey, and hopefully it'll bring Linda, not closure, but a sense of moving on from that initial grief. Always got to be careful with loft ladders. You don't get knocked out.
Linda thinks Angus will find more of Malcolm's things in the loft.
Yeah, there's all sorts up here. I'm just going to have a good rummage round.
And it looks like there's far more to Malcolm than motorbikes.
I mean, there's all this Bell's whiskey in these commemorative Bell's jars, and, oh, that one's empty. If they're full, they're saleable. Sadly, if they're empty, they don't do a great deal, but there's a lot of them.
It may be disorganised and dusty, but the contents of the loft will certainly add value to the auction.
We've got some miner's lamps and some trophies there. I check, they might be silver. If they're silver, there's a lot of money there. Are you there, Pete?
Yeah, I'm coming.
All right, I'm going to pass you all this down.
OK.
Yeah, whiskey. You're not a whiskey drinker, are you?
Not really, no.
No, I'm not really. Why is it you always send me up in the lofts?
At least you know what you're looking for.
There you go, Pete. Some boots, an old vintage helmet there, and even the goggles. Suits you, that.
Don't panic, Mr. Mannering.
With the first fire service in the world, formed in Britain almost 200 years ago, there's a heroic history to celebrate. No wonder Malcolm was such a collector. Loft cleared. What's in the lounge?
You know, this is what I love about my job. Negretti and Zambra of London. Now, they are a very famous scientific instrument manufacturer, and they were formed in around about 1850. They provided opticians and optics to the royalty, to the royal family. But this, look at it. I'm going to have to do some research on this. This is the bit of the job I love. You know, you see something, you know it's good, and you've got to go find out what exactly it is, and it might be a component of something else. But that is a great thing, and it weighs an absolute ton.
They came to collect some bikes. But after 8 hours solid graft, Pete and Angus have filled the van with all sorts of unexpected treasure. With the loft looking a little sparser, it's time to spot the difference in the garage.
The bikes have gone.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can stand in the garage.
And hopefully we'll find some keen enthusiasts like Malcolm that will, love
Yeah.
them and work on them.
Hope so. Fingers crossed.
I mean, the next thing is auction day, so we'll
See you there.
Yes,
we'll see you there. Yeah.
It's a relief.
Yeah.
A relief. Yeah,
It's
I
a
don't
relief
have
that
to
we've
worry
got.
over them anymore.
These were bikes that should be used, so it's better that they're not here.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased with today. We've got a lot of stuff. Yes, we're going to be late home, but we've got some interesting bits. We've got that fantastic instrument. I can't wait to research that and see what that is. We've got motorbikes, we've got fire extinguishers, and we've got whiskey. So, I mean, what more could you want from a day?
And that mysterious object Angus needs to learn more about could be worth a small fortune.
Barney's good hot water bottle, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
The removal van is back from Linda's in Sheffield. An outdoor sales manager, Mark, is on hand to unload.
All right, Pete.
All right, we've got a Sheffield surprise.
Sheffield surprise, eh? Go on then.
We've got some motorbikes.
Motor. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that
can
was...
see straight away that's a BSA Bantam. I've actually got one, believe it or not.
Of course he has!
I bought one, about 30 odd years ago. When I got it, it had never been touched for 30 odd years.
What size engine's that then?
125.
That's it?
Yeah, but that's a nice bike, and again, that'll create a lot of interest.
Good.
Inside, where it's warm, Angus has been researching the mysterious scientific instrument from Linda's living room. And it's a mystery no more.
What it is, it's for recording sunlight and sunlight hours. The actual device itself was first developed in 1853, and these are still used to this day by people monitoring the weather and sunlight recording. And you would have had paper that slipped into this framework at the back there, and the light goes through this sphere and marks on it. And I think that's a wonderful thing and a testament to the ingenuity that we saw in the 19th century. Not bad for something sat on the side that nobody really knew what it was.
5 weeks later, with Malcolm's bikes polished up and the contents of the loft researched and catalogued, Linda and the family have arrived for the
See
auction.
how we go. Come on, let's do this.
Oh,
Oh, bless it.
bless it.
When you see it without all that cover over it and everything, it looks a lot more special.
Well, we're all as wrapped in blankets, weren't it?
It's created a real buzz in the sale room. Those motorbikes always draw the crowds in. So I think they're going to be very pleased. I'm very hopeful that we're going to get some fantastic results. I'm excited for this one.
Glad he's letting us meet in here because it's horrible outside.
Morning, you're right. The sale room all week has just been full of motorbike enthusiasts.
Excellent.
There's been every man and his dog in and, checking the tyres and, so hopefully that translates to some serious bids. But I think we'll have a good day. So.
Thank you very much. I hope so.
Great, well...
Can we go see?
Yeah, please come and go across the sale room. Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you.
Angus.
Thank you.
Go on, give it a squidge.
Still works.
My dad would have loved the fact that his bikes were
He
on
would have
shore.
loved the fact that they're here. He would tell everybody where he'd rode and every tree root he'd gone over, and
Hopefully somebody else will look after him. That's what's really important now.
it is, yeah, and loves them.
Yeah.
With bidders poised on the phone and in the room, there's no time to lose. Helping Angus are auction clerks Emma and Heather, dealing with internet bids. Jasper is enjoying himself as today's porter, and his dad Jeremy, along with Mark, Harriet and Claire, are all juggling phone bids.
Let's see how this goes.
First up,
Right then, ladies and gentlemen, you don't see these very often.
It's the rare Sunshine Recorder.
There we go, lovely thing there. Where should we be for this? I've got to go straight in at 400, 420, 420, 440, 460, 480, 500 at £500 bid.
Oh my God.
At 500, 520, 540, 560, 580, 600.
What?
640, 660, 660, 680, 700, 720. Thank you. At 740.
The internet bids are coming in thick and fast.
760. 80, 780 for a bit of sunshine. At £780, we're all done at 780.
Oh my God.
Sold in the room to a local collector.
That's a starter, isn't it?
You were going to throw that out.
I think she's pleased. Next up, Malcolm's extensive Bell's whisky collection in 9 separate lots. The first is 3 decanters commemorating royal birthdays and anniversaries.
We start this huge collection of whiskey, 32, 45, 45, 48 pounds. Anywhere is it now? At 45, 48, 50. £50 a minute, 50 it is. £50.
A collector from Harrogate will be enjoying these. Next, a large mixed lot, including a bottle of the rare 21-year-old Royal Reserve.
Bit more interest in this lot. I go in at 35, 40, 55, 60, 65, 70, 580. Online at £85. 85 it is now at £85. At 85 all done. I'm selling that at £85.
Over the next 20 minutes,
£100 and I'm selling 100.
the collection of over 50 decanters is sold to all corners of the UK.
At £50.
Oh, I never realised I got this many.
Except for 6 Christmas decanters going all the way to a new owner in Poland. Na zdrowie. Next up, the unusual vintage firefighting collectibles.
The fireman's hoses and helmets. Very handy, aren't they? 18, 20, 32, 40 we're up to.
£40.
45 it is then.
Oh, blimey, mate.
£45, we're all done. 8. 48, sale room bid at 48. Any advanced now at 48, selling at £48.
Going to a new home in Lincoln.
Wow.
Goodness me.
Next up is the first of Malcolm's motorbike memorabilia. Some natty gear from the 1960s.
So we start with the boots and helmet. Where should be? 42, 5, 8, 55. At 55 it is. 60, 65. £65, 70. 70 it is then. At 75, 80, 90, £90 at 95, 100 now. Round it up to £100 for me, please. Last chance then at 95. Gavel is up. I'm going to sell. 100, 110, thank you. 120, thank you. 130. Last call, the gavel is up at £130.
Oh my word.
Sold to a lover of vintage accessories in Kent. Now it's the turn of the motorbikes, starting with Malcolm's beloved vintage Bantam, which has the auction buzzing.
Here we go.
I've got 4 phone lines, internet bids, 960, 980, £1,000, £1,100 I have on commission.
The phones are going mad with bids for the Bantam.
I'll work round the room. Mark, 1,200, 1,200, 1,200 online free, 1,250, 1,300, 1,300, 1,350 on the net, 1,400.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
Line 4, 1,400. Nope, the bid on the net is 1,350 for the Bantam.
That's all right.
In spite of all the phone bids, it goes to an online bidder from Bournemouth.
Happy with that?
The 1990s Suzuki road bike is up next.
There we go, the blue there, £500 start me. At 500, it's got to be worth £500 surely.
It's not as collectible as the other bikes, but there's still plenty of interest.
Got 2 of you hanging on the lines, 500, who wants to be in? 500 bid, thank you. At £500, at 500.
That's all right.
Last up is the bike that's had most views in the online catalogue, the 1980s trail bike that made Malcolm a champion.
The lot you've all been waiting for.
This is Pride and Joy.
It's Pride and Joy.
The internet's gone up to 820, 820, 840, 860, 880, 900, £900 at 900 we're at. 920, 940, 940, 960, 980. £1,000 I have. 1,050, 1,050, 1,100, 1,150, 1,200. 1250. Commission's out. 1300. Thank you, sir. 1350.
It's amazing. What's really nice is somebody wants this.
Next bid's 1350. 1350. 1400.
Crikey.
Quick, if you want to be in. 1450, just in time. 1500, sir. Yep, I'm going to sell at £1,500.
Oh, I hope it's gone to a bike rider.
And as it happens, it has.
This is an off-roader and it's in immaculate condition and it's got lots of history. You know what auctions are like, you get a bit carried away, so yeah, happy days.
There are some very happy buyers today who are going to cherish Malcolm's things. So how do Linda, John and Janine feel?
I was a little bit concerned at one point you're going to have a heart attack.
Gas
coming from upstairs.
It was frenetic.
I was just shocked, really shocked at what things went for. Happy shocked,
Happy
yeah.
shocked, that's
yeah.
I'm really happy that you're pleased with it, and you're actually going to be walking away with £4,915.
Blimey. Wow. Well, I didn't expect that. I really didn't. No.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
You're
you
welcome.
ever so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll remember this forever. I will.
I'm absolutely over the moon. And, you get that excitement, there was that buzz, but the bikes, 4 phone lines on it, we had some great results, and I don't think they expected anywhere near the amount of money that they got. They're happy, I'm happy. What more could you want?
As soon as one auction's finished with one set of happy customers, there's always a new call coming in.
You're right, Pete.
Did you make this?
No, I didn't make it.
It's a fortnight.
What?
2 weeks.
Nice one, Pete, but there's no time for tea gags.
Come on.
All right.
There's a busy day's clearance ahead. The lads are on a local trip today, an hour's drive over to New Earswick on the edge of York.
We're going to visit Ken and Christine.
Right.
They're an older couple, sort of in their 70s.
They are trying to thin out some of the things they've accumulated over a lifetime together.
You had one of these, didn't you?
That was my first car, a Triumph Herald. We met when we were about 15 for the first time. I was a member of a local youth club which were running dance classes. I met Chris there. Now we've been married 50 years.
50 years this year.
50 years this year.
But I think, all in all, we've jogged along quite well, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you said yes.
I've spoken to them on the phone, and apparently they've got a collection in the attic.
No, you like that, don't you?
What, an attic or a collection? A collection. I'm not too keen on attics, but I seem to end up in them.
So what is Ken's collection exactly? Buses. Loads of buses.
I started actually with the models that I was familiar with from school days. So it's things like that that I started off collecting, which are sort of sentimental, but it grew.
In fact, over almost 40 years, Ken has become the owner of almost 200 buses, and it's a proper Yorkshire collection.
I've got a collection of East Yorkshire, West Yorkshire, Halifax, Bradford, Leeds, Huddersfield, all the local area of different models of buses.
But the couple have decided that it's time to part ways with some of their treasures, including Ken's buses.
Sad, really. We're actually the end of the line of both my family and Ken's
my family.
family.
It's peace of mind. You know, when the time comes, we just became conscious of the fact that because we hadn't had any family, we have to make provisions for ourselves.
We seem to have still accumulated a lot of things. I have quite a lot of stuff that belonged to my sister, who sadly died a few years ago. You keep things for sentimental reasons, and all of a sudden you think, this is silly. I don't need it. Why am I keeping it?
Their real issues, they have no living relatives. They've got no one to pass anything on to.
Right.
I mean, no kids or sisters or brothers or anything.
Yeah.
So they're starting to think about what to do with their items. Just want to have a good fin out.
Well, let's get on with it for them.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Pete.
Yeah.
I'll go say hello.
Can I stay here then where it's nice and warm?
You keep warm in the van. I'll give you a shout.
Say please,
Yeah.
2 sugars.
In a minute.
Hello.
Morning, are you all right?
Yeah, fine, thank you.
Good.
Come in.
Thank you very much. How can we help?
Well, we've got quite a lot of stuff for you to have a look at.
Mainly all his.
Mainly my collectibles. But Chris has got quite a few
Bits and
pieces that she'd also like you to cast an eye over.
Wonderful, let's have a look.
I'll give that to you and you can open it.
What have we got in here?
That was my dad's signet ring.
Signet ring, yeah.
That was my mum's wedding ring. Oh. How thin it is.
How thin it is,
I
yeah.
know.
Tiny, isn't it? You'd be happy for these to go?
I'd rather know that they'd gone somewhere that would be appreciated.
Yeah.
It would be a wrench, but I'd rather that they went now.
Yeah. And these must bring back some memories for you.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take good care of those. We've got a very good girl called Harriet who does all the jewellery, so she'll take good care of them.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I suppose we best go and see this amazing collection of collectibles.
Yes.
Here we go. There's, as you can see, quite a collection.
A lot of buses and coaches. Well, not many people know this, Ken, but I used to drive school buses.
Really?
Yep. And the oldest bus they had in the fleet was a Bristol double-decker bus, and that's what I used to drive.
You'll be familiar with that one, then.
That brings back some good memories. Any particular reasons why buses and coaches, or...?
Yeah, it all started because we went to visit a colleague of Chris's, and he had a fantastic collection. And I just went, wow.
The first die-cast models were made in 1934 in the same Hornby factory in Liverpool that manufactured the famous train sets. The cars and buses were designed to create a lifelike landscape for the trains, but soon became popular in their own right.
Have you got boxes for them all as well?
Everyone has its own personal box, and that is a job to marry them up.
Right, well, let me go get Pete. He'll love finding all the boxes to fit him.
Okay.
Right. Wakey, wakey.
I was wondering when you were going to come back.
I'm ready for you, Pete.
All right, then. Oh, wow.
While Pete faces the daunting task of matching 200 buses to their boxes...
Can you recognise them as you just pick up a box and think, oh, yeah, I know that one, and you go straight to it?
They've been out that long, I can't actually do that.
Christine is showing Angus more family items downstairs.
Angus, I don't know if you'd be interested in this. My brother-in-law, Roy, was in the Air Force during the last war.
Yeah.
And he met my sister at a dance in Leeds. And he kept a sort of diary writing to her.
Oh, wow.
And he kept all these photographs. 76 Radar Squadron at...
Yeah.
So all sorts of... He was in one of the reviews, the concert parties that they had during the war.
I mean, what a fantastic archive of sort of, well, social history really, from that period.
I don't know what to do with them because I don't want them just to be binned because it may be of interest.
Absolutely. I mean, they would sell as a group because people just love that history and the fact that he's kept a diary of that period. And what a lovely story.
It might seem a bit painful shedding items with such sentimental value. So will the cash they raise at auction be any consolation?
We'd like to make as much money as we can because whatever is made, we will donate to charity. I think over the last couple of years, all charities have suffered because the fundraising's not happened as much. So anything that we make, we'd love to go to charity, wouldn't we?
Harrington Cavalier, Wallace Arnold.
Up in the attic, Pete and Ken are still matching up the buses to the boxes.
The thing with these...
It's not going to fit in that box.
Yeah, but I think, you see, looking at this, looking at the size of that...
I mean, there's a few nice bits of jewellery in here.
And Angus is having another rummage in Christine's jewellery box.
Probably one of the most famous bits of jewellery for a man is a signet ring. Christine, this was her dad. You know, very much wore this his whole life. Signet rings date back centuries, back to the Romans, the Egyptians, because originally it was a seal. You would have had your coat of arms, and that was your stamp of authority, and you would seal letters in wax with it. And if you imagine, you know, go back a few hundred years, a couple of hundred years even, a lot of people couldn't read and write, but they would recognise the pictures, so they would recognise that's the seal of Lord so-and-so, that's the royal seal, you know, on that letter. So they were incredibly important, and there's a good market for it, usually in gold. This is 9 carat gold, so 375, which basically means 37.5% of that is gold. But it means it's harder wearing than 18 or 22 carat. It's a nice decorative piece that will sell okay.
Bristol,
How are you getting on, you two? Are you keeping them in line, Ken? You finding all the boxes, Pete?
We're getting there, yeah.
Ooh. What's this suitcase?
I don't know, have a look.
Oh, look at this, Pete.
What we found?
It's a box full of Hornby.
Oh.
Model Railway. You will remember this, won't you?
Hornby, yes.
The old Hornby book, 1938 to 1964.
See, that was still before I was born.
Yeah, all right. And it wasn't just the trains that Hornby made, you know, they had everything to go with it. This Hornby Dublo series, so you could buy a signal cabin, through stations, you make whole things, which is nice. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you go back 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, or even to this day. Model Railway is always popular. There's just something about it, and there's a lot of collectors out there for the Hornby, particularly the older bits. So.
What seemed like quite a small job is growing arms and legs, and even Christine is in the attic playing Hunt the Packaging.
Finding the right boxes for the right models is proving time-consuming. It's a bit like waiting for a bus, actually. But what will happen is they'll all come at once, and we'll find all the boxes at the same time. I think I might just take the van home. Pick Pete up tomorrow.
Finally, after 6 hours of boxing up the models, the day is done.
Right, that's us all loaded up.
Well, we've had a lovely day.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
We'll see you on auction day.
Oh, we shall look forward to it.
Wonderful.
With Angus and Pete heading back to Kirby Moorside.
So, we're not getting a bus then?
No, we're not getting a bus.
Thank God.
It's time for Christine and Ken to check out the newly streamlined attic.
Gosh.
Made a big difference. It was something that had to face, had to be done, and it's done. And it's been a fantastic day doing it.
I'm pleased with what's happened, and I haven't got any regrets either, so...
We're just happy bunnies.
Yes.
Pair of us.
Yeah, pair of us, yes.
Happy bunnies.
With all the proceeds going to charity, let's hope Angus has them bouncing around for joy on auction day.
It's not a lot.
By the time Angus and Pete get back, it's getting late.
Where are we putting these boxes then, Nick?
So it's up to Nick and Harriet to do a quick unload.
I'll have a little nosy through.
Oh, I found the buses.
As well as all of Ken's buses, there's more items that belong to Christine's family.
So what do you think of that? Obviously, it's a clock.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on clocks by any stretch of the imagination, but this, I'm not sure. It's quite strange.
It's funny that it's in a box.
Yeah, that's a nice little item.
Yeah, definitely. Look at this cake stand. I'd like that.
Would you? I don't have a very sweet tooth. That's
goes
way above my head, that does. It's
you.
getting on a bit. We better lock up and catalogue this tomorrow or whatever, you know, get this out.
I can do the pink stuff.
Can you do that? Well, you do that, and then I'll do the buses and train stuff. Yeah.
Great.
Thanks, Harriet.
Great, no
Cheers,
worries.
appreciate that.
Bright and early the next day, Angus is investigating the clock in a box that Nick and Harriet were confused by.
It is transport related, so it ties in with the bus collection. And it's a clock, but what it's originally been is a dash clock, sloped to fit on the dashboard. And it would have had a leather carry strap in there, so you could have carried it round, maybe putting it in the car or take it out. But it's quite early. It's sort of post-World War I, pre-World War II, so probably 1920s. And then you've got this lovely wooden case that's obviously been designed for it. But the interesting bit is the fact that it's got this broad arrow mark on the top. And that means it's been military equipment, British military equipment at some point. So is it a military piece of equipment that would have been issued that you could have carried, sat in a vehicle, or carried with you into a shelter or a trench or something like that? But it's interesting, and I like that.
Five weeks after the clearance, it's the morning of Ken and Christine's auction.
Really looking forward to this. I'll open the door for you, on you go.
They only have 34 lots in the auction.
Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Come on then.
But they've decided that every single penny raised will go to charity.
Flippin' heck, I wouldn't have expected all this. Amazing.
And all these boxes and boxes.
Oh, all your precious buses.
Oh,
Don't start looking at them and thinking you're taking any back, because you're not. Oh, look, and there's Roy's memorabilia. That's lovely, isn't it, that's still there?
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm very well, thank you. Are you all right?
We're absolutely tickety-boo and glad to be here.
Good. Well, we've had a bit of interest. Fingers crossed. Yeah. One or two lots are gonna, I think, do all right.
They're going fantastic.
Brilliant. Well, I'll let you look round and get yourself settled, and
We will,
see you
and
soon.
we will watch you go back.
Excellent. Thank you.
Bye. Today, well, I'm feeling very optimistic, excited. What about you, love?
Yeah. Looking forward to the auction. I've never been to one before, so it'll be an experience.
Maybe some big sales will get Ken a bit more excited. Angus?
Yeah, Ken's got this huge bus collection, which, you know, it will sell, but I don't think it's going to fly. Christine, though, she's got one or two interesting bits that we've had quite a few inquiries about, so we might get one or two nice results for them. I'm certainly hoping I am. You know, they're raising money for charity, so we want to do the best we can.
With bidders in the room and online all standing by, it's time for Angus to take to the rostrum. Joining him, auction clerks Heather and Charlotte will track online bids, and sale room assistant Jack is on porter duty. And we're off. Starting with Ken's transport collections. First, one of the Hornby train sets hidden in his old suitcase.
Oh, this is a nice set. 52 it is, then at £52, 55, 38, £40, £42, at £42 we are. At 42, 5, 8, £48, 48 it is, 50 surely for the train set. Nicely boxed up there at 48, 50 anywhere now surely. At £48.
Not bad. We could be on track for a great sale today. Up next, almost 200 of Ken's beloved buses, split into 9 lots.
Die-cast model buses there. There we go, all with their boxes. £40 straight in. 42, 5, 8, 50, £55 this time. Thank you, 60. We're off now. 60 it is, 65.
Need 80.
Keep going.
At £70 at 75. We're all done. 80, 80.
Oh, 80.
£80 it is, then at 80, I'm sorry, 85, £85. 85 it is, then at 85, selling at 85.
Yes.
That's 25 replica 1950s buses on their way to Cheltenham. Up next, another slice of bus history, West Yorkshire buses through the ages.
This is a good lot. 70 and bid at £70. At £75 it is, then at 75.
They're doing well, doing well.
85 bid, 85, looking for 90 now. Gavel's up, don't mistake it, I'm selling at £85.
Ding ding, another great result. Next, a mixed bag of all kinds of vehicles.
More buses.
More buses.
Including more buses.
60.
After selling all Ken's transport collection...
Well, you can't knock this really, can you?
It's time for the heirlooms. First, a cake stand that belonged to Christine's late sister.
Really pretty thing.
It is, really pretty.
You can imagine that in the summer with your sandwiches and your scone with the clotted cream and jam on it. £10 a bid, thank you. At £10, at 10, at 10. 12, anywhere is it now? We all done at 10.
Hopefully, it will be used and cherished by the buyer from Whitby.
It's better than taking it home.
Next, the 1940s photos and diaries written by Christine's late brother-in-law.
World War II ephemera relating to the RAF, Corporal R.E. Duff. Now, this is an interesting little lot. I can go straight in at £32. 5, I've got 8, 40. 40 it is, then at 40. Selling at 40.
Yes.
Somebody who wants it.
Great.
Sold to a local bidder from Beedale. And now, the intriguing portable dashboard clock that's seen military service.
We start with this. This is a really interesting piece. Nice thing, I've got £60 a bid. 65, 70, 5, 80, 5, 90, 5. I've got 100, 110, 110 in the room. We all done, selling at 110.
A good sale, but there's no time to celebrate. Now for another family heirloom.
The 9-carat gold signet ring.
Oh, it's my dad's signet ring.
Stone there we go. And we start at £60.
Wow.
£60 I'm bid at 60 it is, then at 60. 5, 70, 70 it's bid. £70 at 75. At 75, online at 75, we're all done at 75.
My dad will be looking down saying, hey, good.
You're doing well
I
there.
don't believe it.
And finally, another treasure from the jewellery box, belonging to Christine's mum and dad.
The wedding band's there.
That's,
And
my
that's the
mum's,
ring that's
my
very
mum's
thin.
wedding ring.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bids. Start as low as 50, but the second highest is 135 and the highest is 137.
Wow.
Looking for 140.
Flipping heck.
I've got 140 on bid. 150, thank you, 150. 160, online at 160. I'm selling at 160.
The rings will go to begin another couple's life together.
God, they'd be so pleased. Your buses seem to do very well. They
The
do.
whole thing's done
Everything's
a lot more
done
than I
well. Really
anticipated.
chuffed. I know.
The auction has been a surprise success. So how do Ken and Christine feel, knowing that their sentimental items have secured new homes?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
Well, you're smiling.
Well,
Very
you did
much so, yeah.
Well,
Good. Very good.
The great thing is everything's sold.
That was I was worrying about.
You haven't been up all night worrying.
I was awake and I was thinking, what if some of those buses slots don't go? What am I going to do?
Well,
let him tell us how much.
you'll be walking away with £1,346.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for all that. It's great.
You're welcome.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It's been a good fun day.
Yes.
Well, I'm absolutely delighted for Christine and Ken because they had a clean sweep, sold every item, and they sold well. You know, the buses did better than I thought they would, actually. And yeah, there's certainly a few bus appreciators out there that are going to love the buses like Ken did.